You are not shooting this. Yeah. I said like you're comfortable. We just finished. Okay. Now you say hi because this.
What?
You say hi.
Why?
Hi.
Hi. Good job, Ava, for introducing us. So we just finished the traffic and conversion meetup number 2 with 6 fundamentals of online marketing strategy. And go ahead. Okay, so I started out introducing Ava, and she's actually like one of the world's experts, ninjas in this area. Like she's really studied it deeply, and so I just kind of started out talking about the importance of it, and really why the more time you spend, like a famous Albert Einstein quote, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I would take 55 minutes to define the problem and then 5 minutes to solve it. So in marketing, the more time you spend on this phase, the more precise, the better your marketing is going to be going forward. But no one likes to do it. We all skip it. I've skipped it before. Ava, we all do it. But
Yeah. Especially on our own business.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on our own business.
Okay, listen, guys. I actually truly believe that if you do that work, that will save you time and money. And going through these 6 fundamentals that right now you can see, and that were the topic of today's traffic and conversion meetup, is something that I learned when I was working in this company called Mindvalley. And the guy who taught me into this was called Vishen Lakhiani. And we were using this kind of framework to build like bases for different online businesses that we were launching in the e-commerce space, particularly for the personal growth markets, targeting mostly US-based markets. So that was like a very big market.
Which we all know, everyone in Poland wants to sell to those rich Americans,
yeah,
right?
Like,
yeah, they're really...
And this frame really works. It proved itself many times, and it proved me many times when I didn't do that process, that actually you can get yourself into trouble.
Yep.
So right now, this is just a short summary for those of you who haven't been there, or those of you who kind of like been there but kind of want a short recap. We'll not go into details, of course, but I just want to talk quickly about these 6 fundamentals. The first of them is to construct your so-called buyer persona. Your buyer persona is like a persona and like the personality that represents the market that you want to sell to. And the moment when you visualize that person that represents your market, then it makes it tons of times like better to sell to that person and to formulate the basis of your further marketing strategy, which is called the unique selling proposition. So whenever you start, you have to start by defining who that persona is. And we actually gave you 7 characteristics that you should use to define your persona. First of them is like the general demographic data. Second is the goals and values of your persona. Third is the lifestyle and personality traits of the persona. Fourth is challenges, fears, and problems of that person. Fifth is interests and hobbies. Sixth is keywords that that person could possibly type into Google search if they were looking for your particular services or products. And the final one is the objections that could stop that person from purchasing your product or service. If you can define your persona by these 7 characteristics, that's the great next step to start building the actual strategy to tap into the buying potential of that persona. So everyone asks, oh, okay, but how do I get all this information? Well, first of all, you are in the business for the reason, and I hope wherever you work or whatever product you invented.
We hope you know your customers and care about them.
You have some general idea, so at least you know where you should start from. The second thing is that you should do your research. So we kind of gave some ideas of what you could do and what you should not do to actually build the characteristics of your persona. So we do recommend that you actually dive into the online world of like unbelievable information about people you can get. Mm-hmm. We call it
cyber stalking.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Ava said you should do. Go find someone to stalk them on the web. But
yeah, and like do it by open Facebook profiles, and people still don't block them from being public.
Go to forums, find people in there, then go follow them on Facebook and look at everything they have public.
Try to feel them, like to build personas via these 7 characteristics, you really have to feel into these people. And by stalking them in the cyberspace, it's really the best way to do it. Second thing you can do is to actually have the meaningful conversations with people.
Yeah,
And
talk
I'm
to
saying,
people.
talk
Yeah.
to people. And like one thing, for example, we say is like, sometimes you're too early in your like business plan to actually start building the marketing. You're still trying to define what even your product is.
Yeah.
Do the guerrilla style of sales. Just go and try to sell whatever you have to the first person that you think could be interested.
Yeah, a great rule of thumb on this is if you can't sell it in person, sitting down with someone, you're not ready to sell it online. If people
Yeah.
do not see the value, and I'm not talking about your mom or your friend
And
who
that's
you give it
the
to
good
for free,
tip, like,
actually
don't ask them.
find a real person who could value it and then buy it. And then, for example,
go to events, for example, right? Go
Go to
to
events.
events, like call people that you somehow have contact to, that you think could be interested in that service, but that don't know you personally so well that they would just make you a favor.
go to networking meetings,
Yeah.
try and get warm introductions from people. Don't stalk people and like cold call them. That's not usually the best way.
Yeah, and use these opportunities to build, to look specifically for these 7 characteristics of the persona, to build it. And next thing that I like to
Ava,
recommend.
just one thing on that. We were talking about this when in my last business before we built any online marketing. I would just send out a simple email, get people on the phone, and sell them the product. And as soon as I was selling them the product, I understood, okay, 1, I've got a good product, and then 2, why they were buying and why they weren't buying. And that was such a valuable information. So the best time to talk to people, and this is a great point you brought up, was before they buy, either surveying them on the website before they buy with open-ended questions, or getting them on the phone and actually trying to sell them. And then if they sell, great. If not, why they didn't buy, or you should find out.
Yeah, and like I do recommend a lot to use the open question surveys. Like I learned that recently from this book called Ask Formula, where they actually recommended a very simple style of a survey where you just ask one question, which is, what is the biggest challenge that you're experiencing right now related to ... And this is like the subject or the area that your product touches upon. So use that sort of survey to kind of get a lot of like so-called essays of people who really want to answer that question and people who do want to answer that question, and you somehow find them online, maybe through some little campaign on Facebook or something else. And people who write the longest answers are possibly the best person you can talk to and the most potentially your persona that you will like to tap into.
You'd be surprised, you give some people a chance to tell you what they want, they'll actually tell you way more than you ever wanted to know,
and
about what they want.
A lot of people obsess about like, oh, I'm not ready to start building my persona. I'm like, okay, start then doing this research, talking to people, and then sit down, get your ass on the chair and start writing it down. And the first thing you do is really useful. And we actually gave a very good example today at the meetup.
Yep.
Of
Ava was the persona.
No, but first we showed how you can construct a wrong persona by following your initial intuition about the market. And once you construct it and you kind of
test it,
look at it, then you're like, well, something is wrong with that persona. It's like, there's no people like that in the market. So that inspires you to step back and build another persona.
Which was Ava, because she picked herself as the perfect
myself.
persona, which was really funny.
We were giving an example of the vegan, plant-based
really
diet
vegan,
catering. So once you actually see that persona, you use that persona to develop like 3 very important concepts. First of them is called the core desire. Once you see your persona, you have to kind of get the meat out of it. Just this one thing that is the core of the core, which is the main desire that you could tap upon, that is really relevant to your service and product, and that somehow this person really needs, and you can really satisfy that.
It's really like if you solve someone's problem, then you deserve to get paid for it. And when they have a core desire, they have a problem, and if you present a solution, your product, then they'll pay for it. That's really the essence of it.
And then you have to understand also how aware your persona is, of how your product is fulfilling their core desire. It sounds like a little bit complex question, but actually that's
Should have
very...
been at the meetup, right?
Yeah, if you've been to the meetup, we went a little bit deeper into it. I will just leave you with that because
And we'll have
it's
the
supposed to be a
slides out.
short video, man.
Yeah, the slides out too, so.
And once you know that, then you ask another question, which is, how many of other products or services like you been to the market so far? So are you first? Are you second? Is there a lot of companies like you in the market? Once you answer these 3 questions, then you're ready to put something which is called your unique selling proposition. It's like this umbrella of your further marketing campaign. It should be somehow verbalized in 1 sentence, and this is what you kind of would say to that person to convince that person to buy your product, if you had a chance to stand face to face with that person.
And examples we gave, if you go to any great brand websites online, Asana, Slack, Airbnb, go to their webpage and they all have their unique selling proposition there in one big headline,
Yeah.
and then a little sentence below it kind of clarifying the headline. And they always talk about who they're solving the problem for and how they do it.
Yeah, and
it's
the
really
core
simple.
desire, awareness, and sophistication of your market are directly related to what's gonna end up being your unique selling proposition. So once you're gonna build that unique selling proposition and it's gonna be really strong and it's gonna be convincing for you, of course it should be convincing for your buyer, but once you're happy with it, then only is the time to start mapping up your entire sales funnel online. So I think that's it. I don't think we should make it longer. Anyways, it's already a long video, and
No,
I legit say our videos are too long.
it doesn't matter, because if you're watching this far, you know,
That means you're interested.
You're loving it. But so it was really interesting what Ava delivered. And then, you know, lastly, I talked a little bit about branding, and Ava and I love to disagree on this,
yeah.
but we actually really have the same philosophy. We just call it different things. And branding's about your brand story. Really, brand is not about logos as much as it's about your story and how you tell that through every part of your website, the colors, the font, the emails that you write. And we just talked about different levels of, you know, at each different level of sophistication of your market, which Ava talked about in depth.
Yep.
You want to bump up your branding each time because the competition is going to get harder each time. But at the beginning, it can be really basic. You don't have to spend any money. Showed you some cool examples of that. So I think that was it. And
Yeah, and
you should have memorized this, Ava. I mean, you were up there talking for like an hour.
Oh, come on, man.
But
I'm
anyway.
just like a little cheat sheet on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's it. And I think like, please join us on 16th of March.
16
because
March?
Yeah, 16, this time Wednesday.
Okay, yeah.
Here at Google Campus, we're gonna host another traffic and conversion meetup talking about the funnels this time. Like, that's gonna be exciting.
It's good. Ava's going to let me talk a little bit more this time. So she.
Oh, come on.
No, this was really her expertise. I mean, I learned a lot because she was actually working on one of my clients for our case study, and it was really, really helpful. I think I'm going to hire her again to do this stuff for me because she's like the best in the world at it. So.
Okay, Sam.
When we get to the
So,
funnels
like-
next time, Ava's going to talk about the psychology of funnels, and then I'm going to talk about how to translate that psychology into mapping
map.
out everything. And next week's really, or next meetup's really about being an architect, how to map out every little thing, make it all work together, every page, every landing page, every email, every Facebook ad, Google ad, video, all
I
that
think
stuff.
we're gonna do another short video just for that.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, so
She
guys.
just cut me off. She's tired of
Yeah,
listening,
no,
so.
but it's another video. Okay, thank you guys, and see you there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.